A very good evening to you all. You're joining us on Prime TV News. I'm Dilani Jatilaka. Let's have a look at the headlines first. Sri Lanka will get international support to protect local food crops from wild animals. A new agreement has been signed between Sri Lanka and the UN Development Fund. A website is introduced for the convenience of commuters travelling long distances. Dual citizenship is awarded to 840 more Sri Lankans. Adultery is no longer a criminal offence in India. Now for news in detail. The Director General of the International Food Policy Research Institute has assured President Maithripala Sirisena to provide solutions to avoid harm done by wild animals for food crops. Director General of the International Food Policy Research Institute, Schengen Fan, expressed this consent when he met President Maithripala Sirisena, who is in New York to participate in the 73rd sessions of the United Nations General Assembly. The President during this meeting pointed out that about 40% of the food crops, vegetables and fruits were being destroyed by these animals. As such, the President said that the yield of these food crops produced annually reduces and prevents the people to secure a nutritional meal. Schengen Fan told the President that following the experiences gained from solutions provided to other countries that had confronted this issue, it would be possible to minimize this situation in Sri Lanka. The President made a request from Schengen Fan to provide the expertise support in the introduction of a national food policy for Sri Lanka and obtaining a healthy meal. Schengen Fan assured his full support in this respect. Schengen Fan, who requested the President to visit the International Food Policy Institute located in Washington, also extended an invitation to the President to deliver the keynote address at the Food Research Conference to be held in Bangkok. In the meantime, the United Nations Development Fund has entered into a new agreement with Sri Lanka. The agreement was signed on the sidelines of President Maithripala Sirisena's tour of the United States. This agreement was inked with the United Nations Development Programme on behalf of the rapid development which directly impacts fields in social development in Sri Lanka. The agreement was signed with the participation of Foreign Minister Tilak Marapana. This agreement was entered into with respect to the establishment of a fund for social development and the Social Entrepreneurship Fund. It is hoped to solicit the participation of the private sector for the Sri Lankan projects of the United Nations Development Programme. The National Transport Commission has introduced a website for the convenience of commuters travelling long distances from Colombo in private buses. Commuters can reserve the seats they require from any computer or a mobile phone which has internet facilities from this website www.ntcbooking.lk. The launch of this website took place at the auditorium of the Ministry of Transport and Civil Aviation Service under the patronage of Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva. Through this website, any commuter travelling in private buses can plan their travel at a minimum expense and with trust through this seat reservation program. In this reservation process, an additional sum of 30 rupees will be charged other than the fare. The National Transport Commission said that this would facilitate commuters rather than by making payments to brokers or private institutions. The National Transport Commission emphasized that under the second stage of this program, seat reservation facilities will be available for commuters through digital cards. The launch of this online project was also attended by Ministry Secretary G.S. Vithanage, Chairman of the National Transport Commission, and a group of officials. Dual citizenship has been awarded to 840 Sri Lankans who had left the country due to various reasons. The awarding of these dual citizenships took place at Isurupaya in Battaramulla under the patronage of Minister S.B. Navinna. The awarding of dual citizenship, which was introduced to Sri Lanka in the year 1987, was later halted. The program was later assumed again in 2015 with the assumption of office by the present government. Since then, dual citizenship has been awarded on 23 occasions up to now. Dual citizenship has already been given to 33,841 persons. Ministry Secretary D. Swarnapala and Additional Controller of Immigration and Emigration Pasan Ratnayaka were among those present on the occasion. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party Alternative Group has acclaimed the speech delivered by the President in the presence of world leaders addressing the UN General Assembly sessions. The acclamation was made at a news conference held at the Freedom Centre in Borella. Parliamentarian S.B. Disanayake said that the President addressed the UN General Assembly. During his address and in the presence of the world leaders, he extended the gratitude and honour of the island nation for the war heroes who achieved the significant victory routing the ruthless terrorists. It is not a mere thing. He mentioned that they are happy that the President had done so in the presence of the world leaders. He said that everyone should be dedicated to build a country considering and treating all the people of the country equally, enjoying equal rights. A petition filed seeking the reappointment of Mahinda Rajapaksa as the chairman of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party has been dismissed without being taken up for hearing. The ruling was given by the Colombo Civil Appellate High Court. The Colombo High Court had earlier dismissed this case without being taken up for hearing. It was a petition challenging this ruling that was dismissed today in the Civil Appellate High Court, endorsing the earlier ruling. Raising preliminary objections, the General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party said that there is no legal basis to continue with the petition and that the case has been filed over mistaken facts. The incumbent leader of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party is the President. He has immunity from the Constitution itself. Therefore, it is not possible to continue with this case. It was further mentioned in the preliminary objections raised that although the chairman of the Elections Commission had been cited as a defence party, the judiciary had no authority to take action in this respect. It was also mentioned in the preliminary objections that the name of Sunanda Deshapriya, the brother of chairman of the Elections Commission Mahinda Deshapriya, and the former General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party had been erroneously cited as defendants. This petition was filed by two All-Ceylon Working Committee members of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. The case involving the murder of journalist Lasantha Wickramatunge was taken up for hearing in the Mount Lavinia Magistrates Court today. Defendants, former Army Intelligence Officer Premanandu Delagama, former Police Inspector Tissa Sugatapala and retired Senior DIG Prasanna Nanayakara appeared in court today. The Criminal Investigations Department presented the progress of the investigations to court. Statements recorded from Lasantha Wickramatunge's first wife, brother, daughter, former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa and former Army Commander Sarath Fonseca were presented to courts. Further hearing was postponed until January 17th next year. The Department of Railways has announced that a revision of train fares is to be effected after 10 years. This train fare revision is being carried out according to a 2018 budget proposal. It has been proposed to carry out this revision in a manner in which it covers the administrative costs in view of the supply of the related service in the levy of fees for the services provided by state establishments. Accordingly, the Treasury has advised to amend the prices of institutions that had not effected a price revision of a minimum of 15% during the last 3-year period. It is in this respect that the prices of the Department of Railways are to be revised with effect from the 1st of next month. In this revision process, the minimum fare of 10 rupees for the third class, 20 rupees for the second class and 40 rupees for the first class will not be subject to a change. However, the maximum distance that could be travelled for the minimum fare has been reduced. Earlier, the distance that could be travelled for the minimum fare of 10 rupees was 9 kilometres. This has been reduced to 7 kilometres. The season ticket fares will not be subject to any change along with this fare revision. television. The announcement made by the Department of Railways, however, point out that even though a fare revision is to be carried out, it would be less than the prevailing bus fares. The South Asian Meteorological Conference commenced today in Colombo. The conference commenced under the patronage of Secretary to the Ministry of Disaster Management, N.A. Sisira Kumara. The aim of the conference is to gather data on the rain that would be experienced in the region following the northeast monsoon. It was pointed out that these facts were important for pre-conclusions on the impact it would have on the agriculture industry and possible weather conditions in the region. The two-day conference would draw to a close tomorrow. There was an unlimited response to ITN's Youth with Talent reality program, which effected a change to the Sri Lankan reality tradition. The second stage of the ITN Youth with Talent third generation promotional tour commenced from the Mathura town.
Youth with Talent, third generation.
The Youth with Talent program has now become the genuine reality experience of the Sri Lankan youth who amaze the world with determination. This is a joint effort of the National Youth Services Council and the Independent Television Media Network. The Youth with Talent third generation promotional tour embarked on its journey up to Koggala in Galle yesterday. The Youth with Talent third generation trophy being carried in this promotional tour commenced its journey from the Mathura area today. It is scheduled to travel to Hambantota via Tangalla. It will be operative until the 6th of next month, covering 16 districts in the island. The Ministry of Finance and Mass Media organized a seminar marking the commemoration of the International Day of Right to Information. Its inauguration was held in Colombo today under the patronage of Government Information Director General Sudarshana Gunawardena. It will also be held tomorrow. The keynote speech was delivered by Dr. Athura Roy, India's Right to Information activist. In her address, the Additional Secretary to the Ministry of Finance and Mass Media, Tilaka Jayasundara, said that
the Sri Lanka, our public sector is the supply side of Right to Information Act. The right to information in Sri Lanka, we agreed and we all are starting to implement to given this right to information to the civil societies and the civil activists and as well as the general public of this country. But if they are really using the right to information to enhance the development of this country, that may be a very big achievement for this country, because with their involvement and participation, I'm sure as a senior government officer, I'm sure we can enhance the transparency of this country, and also we can get the participatory approach for the development of this country. I believe within another 5 years that the Sri Lankan government sector, I'm sure we will be able to develop the information culture in this country.
Today is World Tourism Day. Several programs were organized in many parts of the island to commemorate the event. A program under the theme "The Mount Lavinia Coastal Belt is a Clean Beach" was held. It was organized by several organizations, including the Institute of Management and Science and Lions Club of Gampaha. The coastal belt was cleaned while educating the community. General Manager of the Coast Guard Authority, PBT Pradeep, and Director of the Institute of Management and Science, Samantha Piris, were among those who participated in this event. Another program was in place at the Haputale railway station, marking World Tourism Day. Part of the program was the welcome extended by women tea leaf pluckers to tourists who had come by train. They were garlanded. The tourists who were warmly welcomed were offered a cup of quality tea produced by tea factories in Haputale. This program was organized by the Haputale Tourism and Trade Development Organization in collaboration with the Haputale Urban Council. Organizers extended their gratitude for the support given by ITN for the promotion of this tourism program. That's all we have for you today. Prime News returns tomorrow. And in the meantime, make www.itnnews.lk your go-to source for the very latest in news at home and overseas. Have a pleasant week. Good night.